So 4 hour. So last time we were here, price was retracing back, and I said I'm gonna expect us to push higher from this inverse here. Let me just remove these things. I'll put them back. Okay. So we have this inverse really gap that I said I wanna see us pull back to. And then today we what happened here? We just spiked lower. Something about the war or something, yeah. Apparently that's the reason. So we did take out all these lows down here. So what I'm seeing now is that market makers want to take price higher, if probably to come and take out these highs here because we did sweep these lows here and we went back and closed inside the 1 hour, the 4 hour inverse value gap. So those are still holding. And we did push higher these two 4 hour candles here. And then now during the New York session, we pushed all the way back lower into this inverse and we had that rejection. So this was giving me every sign to be bullish. And what I'm looking at is this Friday high. This got swept. So yeah, right now we're looking at this Friday's high and also these ones here. Last week's high, the high of the week, Friday's high, and this high right here. So when we drop down to the lower time frame, you'll see that we have this 1 hour fair value gap here. We have this 1 hour fair value gap here, which we have a turtle soup from. And if you look at we traded back into this fair value gap during London session, right? And then we had a reaction. But now, obviously, during New York session, that's when you're expecting distribution, right? Because time must align with price, right? So because it wasn't time for price to move yet, we came back and into this fair value gap and had to take this out. If we didn't take this out, it was gonna leave liquidity here, which was gonna have to come get taken out again, right? So before we start pushing higher, obviously when it comes back here, it has to take out the low. It has to manipulate here first before pushing higher. Now, what do? We look for our inverse fair value gaps on the 1 minute, right here after the tail soup. Let's go down to the three because we have this low resistance here, which we just took out. This is what where I was gonna take off partials if I was in this trade. And then we go to the 1 minute. Now, on the 1 minute, the reason why I didn't get any entries here is because we don't have an inverse here near where we had the sell side swept. Right here where we swept sell side, we didn't have any inverse fair value gaps here, so there was no opportunity for me to take entries. Although we did have this one here. But I've said before, I don't like taking entries from fair value gaps that are all the way up here. I'd rather like, have an entry from something that's down here. At least the discount part of this fair value gap. At least if we came back into this, then I was gonna, because that's what I do when we have an impulsive move like this. I'd rather at least wait for it to come into that, and then I'll start looking for my inverses and all that. But we didn't get that, and we just kept pushing higher. And we do so right now. What I'm looking at is this breaker here. This change in state. We have this change in state. And then let's see ISD. So And then we have this breaker here. And the only times I use a breaker, times where I like using a breaker is when the breaker aligns with a fair value gap. And if you look at this one, we don't really align with any fair value gaps here. Although we do have this small one here, so that's why I have a little bit of hope in this fair value gap. But yeah, we're probably not gonna come back to that, judging also based off of how impulsive we are moving to the upside. But I'm just gonna keep this breaker marked out and we'll see if we come back to it. But yeah, for this week, I'll be bullish, targeting this week, Friday's high and last week's high. So that's for Nasdaq. Now, USDT, we have a little bit of the same thing. We have a sweep of this low back here. We have an SMT and we have this inverse here. And then when did it appear today? Because see, we have this gap here, and then we started pushing higher. We have this order block here, we have this Fibonacci gap here. We pushed higher, came back, rebalanced, continued pushing high. So we're probably coming for this high now. We didn't take out this one, so we're gonna come for that too. And these highs here, that's low resistance. So let me see here. We have this Fibonacci gap plus this. Now, once you have that, you're gonna go down to the lower time frame, wait for New York session. We have a 15-minute Fibonacci gap here. Okay, I would have expected this low to get taken out. So we have a trade back in, and then we have a market structure shift here, and then we have an inverse here. But then there was New York session hadn't came in yet. So I probably wouldn't have gotten that. And then we have that 15-minute Fibonacci gap, which we reacted from. And we have this other block here. So this is giving every sign to be bullish. Oh, here we did react to the change in state. I should have looked at USDT, I would have gotten this. But yeah, we reacted impulsively. Look at that candle. And then we pulled back this change instead of delivery. And we continued pushing higher, coming for these highs here, that low resistance. And then we're probably gonna come for this high too, which is also Friday's high. And we have this low resistance here. We swept that. Yeah, now we should just come for this high. And then we'll probably also run for these. This whole week, I'll be bullish. I'm only looking for buys. That's a bullish order block. So I'm gonna continue reading price. Actually, since we missed this trade, then it's already like 10. I'm just gonna continue reading price for the rest of the day. I'm not gonna place any trades on Nasdaq or USDT. I did catch an entry on gold, but we'll get to that. Uh, we're pushing very light, very nicely though on Nasdaq and USDT. Now, looking at gold, we can see that on the daily, we reacted from this order block here, continue pushing higher, coming for this internal high and this external high here. And then we left with coming for that high there before we start making new highs. Now, there is a possibility that we can get a pullback to come and take these out because now we swept here, we didn't close above. But yeah, I'm still gonna see if I can catch buys here because sometimes when we sweep liquidity like this and we pull back into a previous fair value gap, it's how I look at it is that it's just going back to get more strength so that it can keep pushing higher. Because if I'm strongly bullish, especially because also on Nasdaq and USDT I'm bullish, so I would also expect gold to be bullish too. So I think we've been in this fair value gap 5 days. We've been in this fair value gap. I think it's holding. So I'm gonna continue looking for buys here. And then if you go down to the lower time frame, we go down to the 4 hour, you'll see that we reacted to this order block here. We reacted very nicely to that order block. Now what we look for inverse, and then we look for um or an order block. In this case, we had an order block here. We don't have an inverse, although we do have this fair value gap here, but it's too big for me to be just looking based off of that. But yeah, we did trade back lower, filled that fair value gap, came into this order block here, and we also have an SMT here. We had this push higher, the pullback. That's where I got my opportunity. I saw an opportunity here in this 1 hour fair value gap, so I took my trade in that. So higher time frame point of interest means now I have to look for an SMT. When we are trading off of PDR rates from the 15.5 or the 5 minute, I just look for an inverse. I don't wait for an inverse and I don't wait for SMTs and market structure shifts and all that. But now because we're at the higher time frame, the 1 hour, we have this order block here from the 4 hour, I think. Where was it from? Was it a daily? We have this order block here, this consecutive down candles. I could have taken this one, but yeah, these consecutive down candles, there's an order block, and we have an SMT in here. So a lot of people cut their entries from here. But yeah, I just had to wait for a bit more confirmation. And we had an SMT, we had a market structure shift right here. Market structure shift, we have a fair value gap here. Beautiful textbook setup. We traded back into it and we did trade lower, but the close was very important. We went back and closed inside. Already, that's my sign that what we are holding, we're gonna be bullish. So I just took my entry based off of that, and also because we closed at equilibrium of the candle here. So I didn't really wait for any inverses and all that. But yeah, we did have the reaction and we came back to this inverse here. We closed above, came back in, and then your stop loss would be here. But yeah, as soon as we closed back inside this, I just took my entry. And then that's where on the lower time frame we traded back into this. So yeah, I was confident in my trade. As soon as we started pushing higher, went break even because I knew we shouldn't come back here. And then right now I see we are pulling back. We are pulling back a little bit. I'm still not expecting us to come down here. So yeah, I wanna see us come for this high here. If I had more than one position on this, I would have taken partials here. Half of my positions would be out here, and also this is low resistance. So yeah, half of my positions would be out here, and I'd be targeting that. So we swept that. We should be put back to the 50%. We have also this fair value gap here, the 50%. I'm expecting us to continue pushing higher. I've showed you guys this a lot of times. So if you're new on the channel, you could just check on the other videos. They're there. So we had this from the equilibrium. We also had this fair value gap, expecting a rejection. But yeah, I'm gonna keep holding this and we'll see how it goes. I'm looking at this high level. And also we have low resistance here. That's nice. That's definitely gonna get ran through. And also these highs here. So yeah, this week we are bullish. That was ES. Okay, ES is the same thing as Nasdaq. But yeah, I don't think Nasdaq is gonna come back for me here. Like we're pushing, and I'm not gonna take any buys here. It's too high. Price is too high for me. I'm gonna cancel this. At least I knew I was gonna react from this, even though I didn't get an entry. But yeah. So this will be it for the video. If you are new on the channel, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you leave a like, comment, or join us here on the next video. Even if you are a beginner trader, stay around. DM me on Instagram if you need help with anything. The name is the same as on the channel. So I'll see you guys on the next video.